Claro de los Reyes,
My name is Jose Duran.
and we represent the CUNY Creative Arts team. We've been at the WHSAD community for the past 8 weeks or so, doing a curriculum called Generation Immigration. So what you're going to see today is a culmination of a roughly 8-week process we've been doing for the 4 years, and I think you'll be happy to see what the high school seniors here were able to generate in the past 8 weeks. A couple announcements before we get started, right? We will have a break since this presentation is going to run from 10:15 to around 11:15. There is a period switch between period 3 and 4. So around 10:40 to 10:50, we're going to have a 10-minute break before we restart this presentation. So a little bit about us. If we can go to the PDF really quick. And while we get that, I'm just going to read a little bit of what I wrote here, right? Theater and dramatic writing is what we explored. And we were using it as a way to explore creatively the topic of immigration and migration. So we really leaned on exposing students to a variety of ways to use theater and dramatic writing to study immigration and what that means, migration, and what that can look like. So today you'll see a wide range of voices and a wide range of interpretations on how the students interpreted the theme immigration or migration. I do want to thank, first of all, while we're waiting for the PDF to come up, this program was made possible by the funding of Two Trees and Walentis Family Foundation and the Neighborhood School Grant with the support from Council Member Lincoln Ressler. I also want to thank Principal Cornell, Assistant Principal D'Amato, teachers, Mr. Kessner, Ms. Sabic, Mr. Felix, Ms. Newton, Ms. Nelson, some of the substitute teachers who worked with us, as well as the broader WHSAD staff like Jesse, who's on the 1s and 2s right now.
Yeah.
And obviously, thanks to our CUNY Creative Arts Team family, Jean, who's in the house right now. Thank you for coming along, Jean. Mihal, our project director, is also going to come through. So thank you for folks who might be watching the recording of this. So on to the slides. Right, Generation Immigration, like I said, we spent the past 8 weeks exploring immigration through theater, specifically around dramatic writing, monologues, dialogues, and design. If we could just move on to the next, we're going to move pretty quickly. We covered our basic mission statement, which is CUNY Creative Arts Team uses theater as a vehicle for education to explore social themes like immigration. So that's what we've been doing in the past 8 weeks. You can move to the next slide, Jesse. Here's something before we got started. Our first day, we explored this poem, which was an anonymous poem written in Angel Island, which has a similar but also very different history than New York's Ellis Island. Right, so the students took this poem, and I'm just going to read it really quick. Leaving behind my writing brush and removing my sword, I came to America. Who was to know 2 streams of tears would flow upon arriving here? If there comes a day when I will have attained my ambition and become successful, I will certainly behead the barbarians and spare not a single blade of grass. Sorry you were getting the back of my head, but that's how I could read. So yeah, we took that as a prompt and asked the students what meaning they would make, and they created their first exercise out of that, which was the character builder, which is what you'll see right now, and I'm going to pass it to Jose.
Yeah, the character builder was basically like a worksheet, a questionnaire, and I think it became like the basis of a lot of the work that the kids did, because it was answering questions about their character, very specific questions. And based on that information, they went on to create their monologue in the first person, finding the character's voice. And then if you go to the next.
Yeah, and the next slide. So with the character voice, right, we started with a single character. We then added, how do we world build out of this character? So who or what can this character engage with? So other characters meant scenes, dialogues, which you'll be hearing some today, monologues and dialogues. And finally, after a couple of weeks of doing monologues and dialogue scenes, we finished it up with a brief exploration with kind of a more visual interpretation, which is the next slide,
which is design and costume. We introduced different aspects of design and costume. to basically make their characters more rich, more specific. And we referenced the work of Ruth Carter, two-time Oscar winner, costume designer from Black Panther. And we also showed some photography by Dulce Pinzon, and she uses costume in her work to portray and honor the immigrant experience.
Yeah, so that's our curriculum in a nutshell, right? Theater using monologues, and dramatic writing using scenes, and a small quick unit in design using costumes and sketching. All right, and that's what you're seeing right now that Jesse has pulled up was our conflict worksheet. We talked in our dramatic writing aspect, we talked of the role of conflict and its use in dramatic scenes, how it powers a scene forward, right? Using conflict as a means to explore topics, having two opposing forces collide with each other and create a statement through that, through characters colliding with each other. So I think without further ado, we're gonna go and we can perhaps move on from the slides, Jesse, thank you. We're gonna go and start listening to some of the student presentations and hear their voice.
Yep.
So our first student is Matthew from our period 2 class, so Mr. Kessner's class. All right, let's give Matthew a round of applause. And Matthew is going to be sharing an example of a monologue that they wrote. So here we go.
All right, let's see. All right, so first of all, before I begin, I just wanted to thank everybody for seeing this and allowing me to present. This whole process has been very fun and exciting, and exploring all these different topics about immigration and, you know, just about where we come from. It's been a heck of a journey, in my opinion. But well, without further ado, let me get started. Let's pull this out, and all right. So current setting, the main character is moving out of their apartment and getting the help of some family.
Yeah, can you take that box down? Thanks. I should be almost done here. This is just the last closet I need to go through.
This last closet, I don't even know what's in here. Now that I think about it, it's probably all the stuff Mom gave me when I moved out. All right, let's see here what we're dealing with. The box, another box, plastic container. Oh, that's where my pants went. Gosh. Another box. What's this? Oh, that's what it is. Old records, letters, even this. I thought Mom would have wanted to keep it, but I guess it is mine. It is my history. Huh. Man, I remember. Man, it does bring back memories. It's weird how a marriage certificate was seen as a key or rite of passage. I remember Mom was so frustrated with me. She was so against me going, but I think she knew it was for the best in the end. She just couldn't come to terms with herself. Dad was overjoyed when he heard I was going. He knew of the possibilities America brought, well, as much as he could get out of his friends who already experienced a taste of the American life. I remember when I first arrived here, it was like a sensory overload. It felt like a dream. I remember walking out of John F. Kennedy Airport, not knowing what that even meant, but thinking it sounded so official and grand, and seeing the silhouette created by the sparkling lights of New York City. I remember waking up the next day and being in absolute awe of the scale of America. The buildings were taller, the cars were wider, even the people fatter. And all to think that was, what, 20 years ago now? Jeez. It really does feel like it happened yesterday, though.
Yeah, I'm almost done. Just give me 5 more minutes.
Yeah, I should probably get these boxes down. Thank you.
All right. We all know him. Thank you, Matthew. Just give us a minute of your time to just answer questions. Thank you, first of all, for sharing. I'm glad that we had this moment. So, can you talk a little bit about the inspiration for this piece?
Sure. So the main inspiration actually came from my parents. Half of the story was from my mom's side, and half of it was from my dad's side. And I really just wanted to sort of give people a sort of like a taste of like what they really felt like when they first came here and what was the process. The main inspiration for the marriage certificate was that it was sort of like one of the best ways to actually come to America. Sure, it might have not been legal, but I mean, it was a way to get to America and have that opportunity to come here and try and get a better life for yourself, you know.
Thank you. And if we had time, I would ask you so many more questions because I have so many things to unpack and I found interesting in your piece. But just for the sake of time, thank you for your time. Thank you for your creativity. So up next, we have a piece by James, who has recruited myself and Jose to read a piece, and afterwards we're going to ask you, James, some questions about the piece. So there are two characters, one named New York City and the other named Jersey City, right? Okay, so well, we're just going to start, and then we're going to ask you questions afterwards. No, he's not. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, I'm A, B. Okay. So 3, 2, 1, action.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah. Sure.
Do you know where I could find a job?
Yeah. Is that all?
Well, can you give me directions?
Go ask a local store or business.
Okay.
See you.
Wait up.
What? Now?
Well, could you help me out?
I just did. What more could you want?
Some instructions, a recommendation?
No. Out of my sight.
What an angry guy. I hope the other locals are nicer.
And
All right.
So, thank you for your scene, James. Just a couple of questions. I guess, yeah, well, same question about their inspiration for writing that short scene.
Inspiration was from personal experience. How I feel when some people ask me something, I give them a simple answer. If they ask for more, I say, I can't give you more.
Can you talk about the relationship you were making to immigration?
The relationship I was making for how angry natives can be to immigrants when they come into their own home or territory.
You mean like native New Yorkers you're talking about?
Native New Yorkers. How native New Yorkers can be to some people. That.
Especially with tourists, right?
Especially with tourists. We don't like their slow walking ass here.
Okay. Yeah. Well, on that note. Thank you, James.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, James. All right. So next up, we have Jordan, who has recruited. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, we have Amelia. Sorry, Amelia. We have Amelia sharing a monologue first. Oh, design and then the monologue. Okay, so I'll give you the floor, Amelia, and then we'll. Huh? I can hold it for you if you want. Just give us a nice Here we go. You can have the seats. I will.
Okay. So, good morning. This is my character, Emmanuel Smith, and his character layout. So, the most important thing about his character and the most significant symbol of his character is his mother's ring. This ring was extremely important to him, because it basically represented how, although his family was split apart due to immigration, they would always be with him. And it's kind of like a reminder of his goal of trying to sponsor his family to come with him or bring them to America to be able to live with them in the American dream. So this is a very significant piece of his character. And if he's not wearing it like on his finger, he'll wear it on a necklace, just so that way he always remembers what his goal is. And it's a driving motivation for him because where he currently is at in America is he's working for a much harder, what's the word? He works at a much harder job where they basically underpay him for everything that he's doing, which is interrupting his goal because it doesn't allow him to make enough money to bring his siblings over with him. The journal represents kind of how he's documenting all of his progress throughout America and how he's basically journaling down all of his experiences within the American lifestyle and dream. The pen signifies how once he's able to reach a stable financial point and once he's able to bring his siblings to America, how it's essentially the first thing he's able to buy for himself to pursue his own goals and dreams as a writer. And it's a very significant piece as well because it's the most expensive thing basically that he owns that he can buy for himself. So it's kind of the start of a new chapter and a new part of his life in America.
Nice. And can you talk a little bit about, seems to be some references to a time period in the costume. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So this is representing the part of America where the most immigrants came over from around the world, mainly Europe, to America, and it was the 1800s, I believe. Yes. So it's kind of just representing like how the clothing isn't that sophisticated because again he's an immigrant from a lower class of America, so it's mainly just tattered up. It's a tattered up hat and tattered up clothing, but it's symbolizing from that time period.
All right. So thank you, Amelia. For the sake of time, we might hear from Amelia again later on, but for now, just to talk a little bit about this process. Talk about either how you interpreted immigration here, which I see pretty clearly, but maybe specifically how this design process helped explore the theme for you, or maybe some thoughts around that.
Yeah, so this design process probably helped me flesh out my character and story the most because I've read a lot of different stories and documents and details throughout my life about different periods of immigration. And this seemed like a very common theme of where it was people just trying to live a stable life throughout their lives and trying to get to their goal, even though there was normally something that was hindering them from being able to do that. And this helped flesh that entire area out because the driving factor was his family. But then you also had that underlying goal of he still wanted to pursue his own dreams and own goals, but he couldn't do that without his family there because it was a very big part of his personality. Yeah, which kind of came from the design.
Nice. No, thank you. I mean, it's sometimes when we're writing words, it's hard to explore how these characters look in a three-dimensional space. So I can see how you captured, even without telling me, there's a lot of like visualizations you're doing beyond words, which is cool. So let's give Amelia a round of applause. Thank you, Amelia. All right, so we're gonna have a break in a little bit, but I think we have time for Jordan, who has recruited Jose to read alongside with a little preface.
All right, so let's give it up for Jordan.
Hello, everyone. I just like to start off by saying mine is like a tad bit weird. Yeah, it's this guy named Tomahawk. He's an immigrant from the UK, and he's a ballet instructor, and he's also like an assassin, a private assassin. So this is like a third person monologue, but I'll read it in the first person. Okay. So I found a nail file from the 1980s, and it has become my new obsession. Every day before my AM class, I would have my students line up and file their nails on, and then lick the nail file of the remnants, the nails as it was on the nail file, and just place it back into my back pocket neatly. Um, and I would do that every week. And I recently got this call regarding my next gig. You cannot eat for 2 days because I'm an assassin. And this is my method for killing you.
This is okay. Come with me to fulfill my bucket list.
48 hours begins now. What would you like to do first?
I'd like for you to role play my dog Clada, sit on my lap, and argue with me while on a Ferris wheel. Explain to me that I'm attractive in Pig Latin, and I'll read Rich Dad, Poor Dad as sweet background for the sounds of your esophagus.
We leave for the amusement park.
Scene.
And scene. So we have to ask you, Jordan. We spoke about this in class, right? Because I think you're tapping into, a tradition that is a rich tradition of like absurdist theater. Just talk a little bit about your inspiration for writing this piece. And I know, a lot of writing comes from wherever, so there's no, just sort of talk about like what was the thought process about writing this piece. And there's some exciting language.
Yeah, I was telling you yesterday about how I wanted to kind of, I feel like whenever we hear about immigrants, it's not, we're not really told about, the, like, not say outcast, but something of the sort. And the lives that they live in, how they live it, and like the weird things that they do to survive.
Sort of like the underground culture.
Yeah, and fulfill their like needs as people, as humans.
No, and I like how you took this opportunity to spotlight sort of maybe an unstereotypical voice in sort of the immigration experience. So
yeah, I wish I could go deeper into it.
Oh, I think you can. I think you can. I think you can. But thank you again. I think your voice is unique and awesome. So thank you for sharing that time. I think we have a minute before the bell is going to go. So we're going to take a 10-minute break and then maybe just go on mute, but then we'll come back off mute in around 10:50. Okay, so thank you all for your attention. Thank you everyone for that short break. Don't forget to smash that like. I'm just kidding. We're gonna go back to our lineup, and the next up is our friend Angel Santana, who has a scene, who's recruited myself and Jose to read the scene along with him. So come on. So we will read the scene. We will read the scene and then maybe take a moment to ask Angel about some of the inspirations for the scene. So can you all give us a 3, 2, 1, action.
Sorry about losing the 200 million berries.
It's okay. No worries.
But how about the ship? Will 100 million be enough to fix the ship?
I've decided to switch ships. We owe a lot to this one, but this is as far as she'll sail. So I've been looking at some ships to replace her because it's cheaper to buy another one. So
hold. You could stop joking around now. So we don't have enough money, right? Is it because I lost the money?
Look, that's not it.
Then why are you bringing that stupid idea up? Explain.
Look, you two, calm down.
How am I gonna calm down when he's saying dumb things?
I thought it carefully before I made the decision. This ship can't sail, and that's that.
What are you saying, Luffy? If this is the case, then I might as well leave the crew.
All right then, if you don't like it the way I do things, you can just...
Are you out of your mind? Don't say things you regret.
It's okay, Sanji. Maybe that's how he feels. Just get rid of the useless.
Look, I didn't mean to.
I'm quitting this crew. You're the captain, and it's your decision.
Usopp, please.
Luffy, I challenge you to a fight. Winner takes the ship. Moments later, after a tough fight, Luffy, with tears going down his face, emerges victorious.
You can keep the ship if you want to. We'll get a new one and sail through the world with it. Goodbye, Usopp. And pause. All right. Okay, so while we're here, Angel, just talk to, I know we spoke beforehand, you were referring a little bit of a fan fiction to some existing anime, but talk to us about how you thought of immigration and how this idea came to you.
I thought of immigration because this anime One Piece, they sailed throughout the world in a boat. They're a group of friends who were in search of a big treasure.
Mm-hmm.
So in each island they encounter, they find different cultures. They find different things. They sell like all the way throughout the world. Their goal is to reach the final island.
So this the anime that has a kind of a premise of like traveling in ships reminded you of the theme of immigration and sort of some of the, I guess, problems. So we're going to pause because I think there's an announcement. I think it'll be done in a second. All right, a little commercial break.
Lots of YouTube. Ads of YouTube.
Yes, these are our YouTube ads. Wow, lots of ads. Hopefully, lots of funding too. All right, smash that subscribe button at Creative Arts Team, YouTube and Instagram. Anyway, to finish off with Angel, yeah, thank you for making that thematic link between One Piece, the anime, and the scene that you created for us. So let's give Angel a round of applause. All right, what are you questions? All right, so up next is Oliver, who has a monologue, and we'll ask Oliver some questions afterwards. So we're gonna let's give Oliver a round of applause. So whenever you're ready, Oliver.
All right. So my name is Oliver, and for my monologue, I wanted to give it a kind of a movie storytelling kind of theme. So here I go. I should have been there for him before it was too late. He was the only child of the family and had the responsibility to raise himself after losing his parents. So it taught him how to be on his own from a child and made him learn skills that children at his age shouldn't learn. but that just made him stronger. I should have been there for him before it was too late.
Woo! All right. So thank you, and I love the repetition in that. Can you talk a little bit about your inspiration for writing this?
My inspiration, it's kind of it's I could say there's kind of many inspirations. There's personal and also from a movie. So personal, like, you know, obviously in life, not everybody grows up with two parents, so they don't endurance the same opportunities or skills to learn from both of the parents.
Yeah.
So they grow up kind of having to learn on their own. And another one is also Batman. He also didn't grow up with parents.
Oh, yeah. One more question while we're here. In terms of writing the voice of the character, can you talk a little bit about that experience? Because you know, writing in first, then you switch to third person, but like writing a character's voice, how does that feel, and how does that differ from maybe some of your other writing, like the essay writing that you're asked from school and stuff like that?
I could say it's very different because it's more like, instead of an essay, you're trying to back up one of your claims and give evidence to that. This is totally different. This is like, it's telling your story, your ideas, and your ideas that you're putting together and trying to make people understand what you're thinking and have a whole story behind that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's world building in a different way, or maybe I would say backing up your claims in a different way. Right?
And this work can be very personal, man. So I thank you so much for sharing. That was a really beautiful piece.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, let's give Oliver a round of applause. Thank you. All right, so next up we have Mohammed, who is sharing a monologue. So I'm going to welcome Mohammed up. Let's give Mohammed a round of applause. All right, so whenever you're ready, Mohammed.
All right, hi guys, my name is Mohammed, and well, the monologue is gonna seem a little strange at first, but it takes, at the end, you'll kind of have to understand how it relates to the topic at hand. And I call this poem, or this monologue, I versus Them. As I descended, my heart was taken over by a malignant passion. Once the prince, once the bearer of light, now the former beloved. Now they take my place. His arrogance and greed led to his descent, they say. Can't the same thing be said about them? What makes me different from them? Wasn't I also a lost soul like them, seeking recognition, unconditional loyalty, power, purpose? Another lost soul seeking? A lost soul? More so a void in their eyes. Those judgmental eyes, staring as if I were the bane of their existence. Misunderstood, neglected, denied. The gates prohibit my presence, so my mercy prohibits theirs. My actions, my choices, my name will forever be damned. Damned by all the hypocrisy, damned by the nature of presumption, damned by all. Damned I may be, but far from forgotten. Sincerely, yours truly.
All right. Thank you. You're getting some claps. So thank you, Mohammed, for sharing. And thanks for that performance too, by the way. Let's talk about. I would say that let's go another way here in terms of your connection to immigration in terms of writing this. I know we spoke a lot about this in class, but yeah, can you share a little bit about that?
At first, I'm very much in, I tend to overthink a lot, but I tend to have a lot of ideas that probably, this was actually originally inspired by a book, Paradise Lost, where it was kind of,
love for Paradise Lost.
Just to simplify, it's basically like Bible fan fiction. But now I want to relate to what it may feel like transitioning and what it feels like going from one place to the other, to the outside world. Yeah. I'm a big proponent of I'm really interested in philosophy. And one of the biggest things I believe is that all you have to do in the entire world is live your life without intentionally hurting others. That's all you really want to do. But when you're in the outside world, you're pretty much surrounded by judgment. We're sensing beings, and I feel like I really want to emphasize how it feels like you're being judged from every angle just from a mistake you've made, but still keeping some part of yourself left.
Yeah, thank you. So I like this. Again, we said earlier on that we used the migration and immigration as a theme, but didn't really dictate to the students how they interpreted that. So thank you for, again, offering another lens at like a philosophical take on the theme. So thank you, Mohammed.
So up next we have Ian, who has recruited me, right, to read alongside him. So come on, Ian, and remind me. We have the two characters, right, Ricardo and Nicolas, and I'm reading for.
You're reading for Ricardo, which is the older brother, and I'm Nicholas, the younger brother.
Okay, all right. So
I'll give you a 3, 2, 1.
yes.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Action.
Ricardo packs up and prepares to leave.
Enter scene. So that's it? You're leaving?
I know you might not understand, but I want to search for more in my life, and America is the way. I want to start my dreams.
And leave me and our family behind? I can't carry such a burden on my own. I need my hermano mayor. You can start out new in some other job here. You don't have to go far from us.
No, look, I've made my decision. Dad supports my decision and my dream. Everything will be under control. Everything will be under control here. You will be fine. But you're just jealous of me because you cannot see others grow.
You don't understand. You will cut connections from us. I know you. Los Americanos are so good for you that you can't stand being a ranchero. But that's what keeps us moving. Your mother is sick, Ricardo. I don't know how many days she will last on this earth. You leaving will be the piece that tips the scale over.
Being a farmer isn't my passion. It's not what I wake up every day hoping to do. Look, I'm pretty sure Mama has a cold. It's nothing major. Goodbye, Nicholas. I'll see you later.
And scene.
Woo! All right. So thank you, Ian, for the drama. Oh my gosh.
High stakes, man.
High stakes
high
drama.
High stakes.
Let's talk a little bit about. Oh man, it's going wild. The audience, your online audience, is going wild. Can you talk a little bit about the inspiration for writing this piece?
So writing this piece, like I wanted to touch upon immigration and migration. So I looked at my father. Most of this piece really inspired me the most because he came here in America for like the pursuit of happiness and looking for a better life because obviously where he was, it wasn't very fortunate for him.
And you talk a little bit about, so that's a nice sort of drawing from personal connections about maybe using this form to explore it, right? You use scenes, characters. Can you talk a little bit how that experience was like using characters as a way to explore that or writing in this way?
Right. So the use of characters here, I tried to make it a little bit broad while still tying close to me. That way, almost everybody can like feel and like feel through this way. So that's kind of like how I tied the characters, not using their actual names, but like almost like as a vessel, so everybody can just like sort of like feel this way. And some of here I took inspiration from like almost like real life events here. So like my father actually did leave part of his family over there from his hometown, and yeah.
Okay. And lastly, because I know Jose mentioned this, like we love how you integrated some like Spanish words in there. Can you talk a little about that choice? Because that I thought that was a rich choice to put some Spanish words in there.
Right. So I tried to draw this back from where he come from. He came from Mexico. So like obviously Spanish is a language that was used there. So I tried to tie it back to like his hometown to like kind of settle into like what he's leaving behind since he's going to America to start out a new life.
Great use of exposition.
Beautifully done, man. Very authentic. Good job.
Nice. Let's give Ian a round of applause. Thank you. Still have a lot of show left, and if you haven't, click subscribe. Now's a good time. We're gonna have Kashima join us to share a monologue. All right, Shima. All right. All right, let's give Kashima another round of applause. Yeah, any of the seats.
I just read
Sure.
myself.
You can go right in, or if you want to say any
Can
words
you sit in the
before,
middle seat?
that's fine too. But you could, I'd say let's just go for it, and then we can talk afterwards.
There is something I have to tell you about where this bracelet came from. I often remember times from my childhood where I would play in the open fields and help my grandmother on the farms. This is very different from my life here in America, where the environment is more compact, filled with buildings and cars. Here, there is a scarcity of wildlife and nature. To get food, I go to the supermarket. When I look at my bracelet, it reminds me of life in Jamaica and the differences that lie both within the cultural aspects of America as well as social. My bracelet displays the colors of the Jamaican flag and serve as a great reminder of where I came from and the experiences I share.
All right. Okay. Nice. So it's same thing. I mean, I think I can see the link with our theme there. It's very clear. But maybe talking about the inspiration specifically. I mean, I can see the theme in the writing, but talking about what inspired you to write this specifically.
Well, this story was based on my experiences, so the inspiration came from my experiences because I grew up in Jamaica, and yeah.
So it's like autobiographical in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how did it feel to write through the theater? Right, you're using first person, and again, you told us it's autobiographical, but if you said it was a character, I would have definitely bought that too. So how did it feel to write in that voice?
I mean, I was happy because like it kind of like related to a lot of others' experiences.
Yeah.
So I think the relatability to other people is just like, I don't know.
Yeah, you were able to find connections through it. Okay. Yeah. So thank you for sharing your piece, Kashima. Thank you.
All right. Almost done. Next up, we have Patty. Patty's here. Yeah. And Patty, you were going to share a monologue. Is that still? Yeah. All right. Just, I'll give you a choice. Which one do you want to share, the builder or the monologue?
I mean, it's coincide.
Coincide?
Yeah, I do the monologue.
Okay, we'll do the monologue and then we'll talk to you about the character builder afterwards. All right, so let's give Patty a round of applause. Yeah.
All right, so Patty, whenever you're ready.
On Earth with a all over the place mind, tending to find himself lost, feeling like he lives on another planet, feeling like there is no place for him, lost in space, trying to find out who he is, trying to see what his life or destiny was meant to be. Every day of his life, he would put himself down, telling himself he is nothing, has no purpose, uses words like, "You're not worth living. What's the point?" to describe or convince himself that he should give up on hope of finding himself. Little does he know, he is more than what he thinks of himself as. This all comes to the thought, should I keep going or give up on life?
Wow. All right. All right, thank you. Thank you, guys. Again, hitting us with the intimacy, the feels in that one. To talk about writing in terms of our theme of immigration, right? I think we spoke a little bit about it. And again, every interpretation is correct on our program in terms of, but let's talk a little bit about that connection to the theme of migration and immigration.
So like when I was writing it, I'm not gonna lie, like I was in class and I was like kind of like lost. Like I didn't know what to put. And when you said like migration, I went through like my own phase like last year.
Sure.
And like I know like a lot of people when they come to like America or they travel like anywhere,
yeah,
they're trying to like find out like a lot of people when they travel, they try to find out like who they are.
Yeah.
Or they try to find a sense of a connection somewhere. So I mean, I kind of like related it to like how I was, and then it kind of just fell into place.
Yeah, man. It was beautiful, and I love how you took a more like philosophical, I feel like, approach to it, and it was beautiful, similar to Muhammad. Really, yeah, great work.
Yeah, and again, if we had more time, I would totally pick your brain because I think there's a lot of rich language there. And thank you for being daring to sort of go at a more intimate level, which is, you know, it's very hard. So kudos to that, and thank you, Patty.
All right, we only have three students left. So third to last is Kenneth. Let's give a round of applause to Kenneth, who is sharing a monologue. Oh, a scene, and has recruited Jose to read the scene alongside. All right, so we're just gonna give Kenneth and Jose 3, 2, 1 action, and then have a conversation with Kenneth afterwards. So let's give them a 3, 2, 1 action.
I did it. I did it. I got in.
What are you yelling about?
I got into the music store competition in America.
You what?
I can't believe it. I'm going to.
Oh, no, you're not. You're not going to America. And you're not entering into that contest.
What, but why?
Because we both know you're not good enough to win. So why even bother?
But this is my chance to accomplish my dream.
I don't care. You're not going. Now go to your room. You're grounded.
What a drunk idiot, and I hate you. I'm going to America, and I'm going to win the contest. And there is nothing you can do to stop me.
And scene.
Yeah.
All right. Woo! Oh man, that took a high stakes turn.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna be a brief conversation, kind of about, the inspiration. Like, why did you write that scene the way you did?
Well, I read this story about Leo who lived a poor life but wants to become a magician. So that made me thinking of my own character, Ray, who wants to become a musician.
Oh, nice.
And then I also watched this documentary about abusive families. So yeah, you can see where I read that.
Nice. So I like this, which happens a lot. Like Shakespeare took a lot of plots and premises and transposed them into each other. And I think that's what you're saying. You're basing this off two source materials that you created your own. Magician to musicians, also kind of funny, but also awesome. I thought the stakes really took a serious turn in the end. So it's very exciting to watch. Anything you want to say, Jose?
No, it was great work, man. Yeah, I loved it. Exciting and
Yes, I also like to note there's another main character, Alice, who's posted as a rival in competition.
Oh, so there's more to it, and I can't wait. Hopefully, I encourage you to continue to write the other. If you haven't already, write the other scenes, because it'd be interesting to sort of see where the story goes.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
Kenneth, let's give Kenneth a round of applause.
All right, so we have second to last student is Brandy. Let's give Brandy a round of applause. Yeah, Brandy. So Brandy, and Brandy has recruited me to read. Let's talk.
So there's two characters here, right? I'm reading a character named Samus.
Yeah.
And you're reading.
Essentially his father figure. So.
Okay. Cool. So can maybe you can count us in.
3, 2, 1, action.
Why run away? We need to fight for what's right. Do we not?
If I didn't know any better, I'd call you a fool. Do you really want to serve for a country that doesn't give a damn about you?
Look, if I didn't know you better, I'd call you a coward. If my death means freedom, then it's all worth it.
And if we lose the war, what was your death for?
A death of someone who fought for what was right and did their duty.
Seems like the fumes and smoke have blinded you. Please open your eyes, mijo. Come to Canada. If not for me, then para tu mamá.
Look, I'm heading to the embassy and registering. That's final.
And pause.
Great, man. I love your performance too. You gave it something. That was really good, man.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
I know.
High stakes again.
Yeah. So Brandy, same thing in terms of the inspiration for this scene.
Inspiration was just again movies that I've seen before and personal, like half and half.
Nice.
Personal aspect comes from like the father being a bit too harsh.
Mhm.
Well, what seems essentially harsh at first to his son is like, no, you can't do this. Because I've had personal experiences with my father where he's like, you can't do this. It's like, because you have a certain thing. And I'm like, well, I want to though. But like in the end, it's like something you look fond when like they're long gone. It's like they were just trying to take care of me. That's all. You kind of see where they come from.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. And one more before we move on. In terms of writing in this style, right? Writing through characters. Can you tell us about that experience? You're writing, voices of characters. How is that like doing that?
It's interesting because you have to give enough character for both people to like see their perspective on where they stand.
Yeah.
So like for Sam, it's like, oh, he's like very patriotic to his country.
Yeah.
But his father's like, well, no, it's like if you die, then it's kind of disappointing. It's like I love you because you're my son. So it's kind of a weird balance that you have to find. It's like you have to encourage one character, but you also need to give depth to the others.
Yeah. Clear point of views from both characters, which made for great conflict.
Opposing forces, the stuff we've been saying the whole time. So thank you, Brandy.
And last but not least, we have a piece from Italo, who has recruited Jose to read a monologue, and we'll have a conversation with Italo after that. So let's give a round of applause for Jose and Italo. All right. So we have playwright and actor beside each other, and
I'm gonna talk to you. All right.
All right. And 3, 2, 1, action.
There's something I wanted to tell you about this. I got these wings from a friend that used to work for an airline. This artifact, it has a big meaning to me. It represents my dream and what I want to achieve in the near future. You only get these pair of silver wings as long as you work for the airline. So when she gave it to me, it was telling me to continue to follow my dreams. I'm telling you this because I'm your big brother, and I know you're going to keep these wings in good shape for me until you get yours. And to you, and that you could follow your dreams. So that was a really beautiful personal piece.
Thank you. All right, let's give a round of applause for Italo. All right.
So as we close out, we want to thank everyone who spent the time with us. And maybe we'll can we have all the students? I'm doing this for the gram. Let's do.
You want to maybe move it?
No. Let's have it. It's here, so we can have a nice group. So Kashima, Jordan. We'll just say thanks to our group. Come join us here.
Maybe I just bring it back to that.
Yeah, bring it back a little bit. Nah, we'll just say. Come on, let's push it a little bit. Thank you, Jesse, for helping us.
Technical
assistance. Yes.
Look at that. There we go.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I think that works. All right, so we just want to thank the WHSAD community. Thank you for our funders, Two Trees Foundation, Lenses Foundation, Council Member Lincoln Wrestler, Principal Parnell, Assistant Principal D'Amato, the WHSAD community at large, Williamsburg, of course, and all the students, of course. Spring break. Thank you. All right. subscribe, turn on post notifications to stay updated with all the new content coming out.
Good day, New York.
All right. Thank you. All right. I'm gonna go ahead.